If you feel broke in OSRS, it's not because the money isn't there, it absolutely is. This game has so many ways to make money, so many ways that have nothing to do with killing anything, and a few of them are quite underrated. They're on the wiki but barely anyone mentions them. And then there's obvious ones which you might have heard of but you should be doing. So before we get into some obscure methods, I want to be covering something that might be good to get used to doing every day. They're not going to replace your main money makers on their own, but they're going to stack up in the background every single day and just bring you passive money. And there's definitely so many players that haven't made this a habit yet. First are the classic herb runs. You can do it every time you log in and every time you log out. I know it might feel repetitive and you've probably heard it mentioned 1,000 times, but the reason people mention it so often is because it's so good. Even at mid-level farming with Renars, Snapdragons and Toadflax, people don't really factor in how little time it takes and how much you can actually make. Even just a few minutes per day stacks up nicely. The effective GP per hour definitely looks a bit crazy on paper because of how little active time is actually involved. But when you start unlocking more patches like the Farming Guild, West, the Trolled Stronghold or Harmony Island, it all scales up dramatically. A lot of the people who started at level 32 farming and consistently did it in the mid game, that definitely funded a lot of things for their account progression. Coral runs are a newer addition, and it's been pretty good since Sailing launched. To do it you need 28 farming and the Troubled Tortugan's quest completed. It's one of the quests that came with Sailing. There's a demand for corals right now because of Herbalore. Mix this in with your herb runs and it's a good combination of passive money. Another classic one is birdhouse runs. Every 50 minutes to an hour, get into the habit of making a quick trip to Fossil Island. It's fast and it gives solid passive hunter XP. And if you collect the feathers, nests and seeds consistently, it can be some nice money. But away from background income, here's some methods that you might not know about. The Gnome Restaurant. Looking at the wiki's numbers, I'm surprised this one doesn't get mentioned more. It's sitting at over 2 million GP per hour and almost nobody in the wider community talks about it. It's a minigame at the Grand Tree where you deliver gnome food to various NPCs scattered around Gielinor. You take orders from the chef, cook and collect the required gnome dishes, and then make the deliveries as quick as possible. The faster you complete deliveries, the more reward tokens you accumulate, and those tokens are what you exchange for actual profit. You're going to need 42 cooking and ideally 61 magic. Magic because you're going to want good teleports to deliver it quick enough, and some of the deliveries will be at random places. If you have a proper teleport setup, the right jewellery, an Ardoon cloak, whatever you need to get around the map fast, I would say that that's 100% going to be needed. For the rewards, the big earner is the Grand Seed Pod. You're also going to get gnome scarves, but then Snapdragon and Toadflax herbs as a bonus on top. The wiki says over 2 million GP per hour at good efficiency. That's actually more than a lot of mid-game bosses. For Snowy Night Butterflies, you're gonna need 35 Hunter. This is one of the best low requirement moneymakers in the game, mainly for people who haven't looked into Hunter as an income source. Snowy Night Butterflies are caught with butterfly nets and jars just like any other butterfly in the game. They spawn near a fairy ring in a cold region, and as long as you've started Fairy Tale Part 2, you just teleport to the ring and run a short distance. There's no special setup needed, no expensive gear, just a butterfly net, some jars and 35 Hunter. The butterflies have a specific ongoing use case that keeps the demand consistent. Snowy Knights are a healing butterfly with an area effect, healing up to 3 players in a 5x5 tile area, and they're used in certain PvM situations, some PvP setups and notably in speedrunning content. That niche demand doesn't go away quickly, so the price stays up, and right now you're looking at around 800k GP per hour, with some decent hunter XP on the side. Sacred Oil is produced through the Shades of Mort'ton minigame. You've probably ran through Mort'ton at some point for questing purposes. The requirements are 20 crafting and the completion of the Shades of Mort'ton quest. The minigame involves helping restore and defend the temple in Mort'ton. Sacred Oil is used in firemaking for sacred logs, and it has various other utility uses that keep it in constant steady demand. The current rate says it's around 1.2 million GP per hour, which for a 20 crafting requirement is honestly really good. Another classic, enchanting topaz jewellery. With 49 magic and enough starting cash, you can buy a stack of jewellery. You can use the level 3 enchant spell to enchant topaz jewellery into useful items and sell them for more than you paid. There's a whole bunch of things you can make. The Bracelet of Slaughter, things like the Burning Amulet. The Bracelet of Slaughter has a permanent demand from people who train Slayer, and the Burning Amulet is used for teleport reasons. The thing with this one is obviously the price is gonna swing. There's windows where it's really good money and then times where it's a bit mid. But it's a cool way to train magic, and you can sometimes expect over 2 million GP per hour. You're getting around 90k magic XP, which is pretty good. Another skilling one is tanning dragon leather. The tan leather spell from the Lunar spellbook is one of the methods that have been providing solid money for years. The requirements are a bit more steep at 78 magic. You're also going to need completion of Lunar Diplomacy and the Hard Fremnik Diary, so this one definitely has a higher point of entry. You equipped a fire staff, load up on some astral and nature runes, bank stand and cast tan leather. The spell costs 273 coins per cast and it tans 5 hides at a time. You're tanning around 8,000 hides per hour and you'll be getting around 130k magic XP in the process. The profit comes from the difference between the raw hide price and the tan leather price. Red dragon hide is normally where the best margin is. The wiki states 1.5 million GP per hour after tax. Always check the prices for green, blue, red and black dragon hide before you start. If you have 65 herbalore, you can make Sanfew Serums. It's made by adding snakeweed, unicorn horn dust, and beast nails to a super restore 4 potion. What you'll get is one of the best potions used in Slayer. It restores all your stats including prayer and hit points while also curing poison and disease simultaneously. That means players are constantly using it, meaning the demand is consistent. You're going to need 65 herbalore and completion of the Zorj Flesh Eaters and Druidic Ritual. Doing this you can make over 2 million GP per hour. The method is somewhat intense, but over 2 mil GP per hour for 65 herbalore is pretty good. The reasons the margins stay alive is because you can't just buy snakeweed from the GE, so if you want to try something new, give this method a go. If you want to enter the Bond giveaway, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video and comment down below your favourite non-combat moneymaker. On a similar note, cleaning herbs in bulk is one of the most consistent, underrated processing methods in the game. Grimy Catatine specifically is sitting at over 2 million GP per hour. To do this herb, you're going to need 65 herbalore and 70 magic. The reason for the magic level is so that you can use a herb sack and spells to help manage your inventory efficiently. The process is very straightforward. Buy in bulk from the GE, clean them, and then sell the herbs back. I would always suggest slow selling to get the most profit. This is definitely very click intensive, but it's also pretty decent money for the requirements. If herbalore is something you're already training, then this is a good way to make a grind pay for itself. Something I love that's in the game that I think a lot of people hate is the Wilderness Agility course. I truly believe it doesn't get the attention it deserves because it's in the wilderness. You need 52 agility to access the course, or 47 with a summer pie if you want to boost it. Before you can even earn any loot, you need to pay 150k into the dispenser. This is your one-time buy-in for the entire session. From that point on, every lap you complete earns a ticket and loot from the dispenser. The key mechanic is your streak. The longer your streak, the more you earn per lap. It scales up depending on how many laps you've done, but the early laps pay around 6.5 GP per lap, and once you've built a streak above 60, that climbs to around 26k per lap. If you sustain a good session, it's easily 2 mil per hour, alongside 45k agility XP. The obvious deterrent is the fact that it's in the wilderness. You're at high level wilderness, so you can get attacked by an array of different levels, but I've noticed since Jagger expanded a lot of the bots, it's been pretty dead in terms of getting killed, so right now might be a good time to try it. The best way to avoid any risk is by joining a mass world. If you can find a mass world that's running right now, probably the best way to do this. You'll have a bunch of people that are ready to kill anyone that wants to kill you, and everyone has the same agenda, so no one really wants to mess it up. There's obviously still a chance in these mass worlds that you can die, but if you haven't tried it yet, I'd say give it a go even if there is some risk. For smithing, the blast furnace is one of the most reliable GP per hour methods. You have 2 main options based on your smithing level. Adamant bars at 70, which makes around 2 million per hour, and runite bars at 85 smithing, which is actually pretty similar in your profit. They're not crazy money, but they're consistent, reliable, and provide very good smithing XP. A coal bag is essential for efficient runs, and ice gloves are strongly recommended so you can pick up the bars without needing to use a bucket of water. The graceful outfit definitely helps so you don't have to keep spamming stamina potions, and the method is pretty high intensity, but once you get into a rhythm, I actually find it pretty chill. Another thing to note, if you're on a blast furnace world, you're going to have to pay an operator fee of around 72k, but that's if your smithing is below 60. After you've hit 60, it's free. Mining Infernal Shale definitely has higher requirements. Infernal Shale was added as part of the Yama update in 2025. It's found in the Infernal Shale resource area at the bottom of the Chasm of Fire. To access the rocks, you need to have completed a Kingdom Divided. Then speak to Yama when you enter the chasm to sign his contract. Getting there quickly is helped by the agility shortcuts. Either the chain shortcut, which you need 83 agility, or the platform edge where you need 73. There's the very AFK method, but only yields 140 to 200 shell per hour. Definitely not the rate you want if you're serious about money making here. The other method is mining the Infernal Shale normally, which is moderately intense with better rates. The third option, and by far the most profitable, is using Jim's wet cloth with tick manipulation on the rocks. This can reach 1500 to 1700 shell per hour, which crushes down to roughly 2000 crushed Infernal Shell. The XP is also reasonable, 40 to 50k mining XP per hour. Smithing Oathplate armor is currently the highest earning non-combat skilling method on the OSRS wiki. It's listed at over 9 million GP per hour. You're going to need 83 smithing, which is definitely a hard requirement. You're also going to again need a Kingdom Divided completed. The materials you need per piece of armor are 450 Oathplate shards and 2520 crushed Infernal Shell. Oathplate shards drop from Yama and are tradable on the GE. It's definitely a crazy amount of upfront investment, but the profit margin is huge. After factoring GE tax, you're capped at around 5 million GP. The chestplate, legs and helm fluctuate in price, so you want to have a look at which is best to make before doing so. Make sure to sell slowly, definitely don't dump this item, and it will be one of the best methods you can do to make good money without any combat. A skill that most people hate, runecrafting. It's been a top tier moneymaker forever. The difference is in 2026 there's more options and more level brackets than ever before, which means there's always something profitable to do no matter what your level is. Some of the main ones are blood runecrafting at 77, which can make you up to 2.5 million per hour, wrath runes at 95, which is around 2.6 million, sun fire runes at a crazy 98 runecrafting. This will push it closer to 3.5 million per hour. You can do ether runes at 90. This will make you just under 3 million per hour. Runecrafting always has a profitable option at your level. Guardians of the Rift definitely made this skill a lot less miserable, so if you've been avoiding it, then maybe give this a try. Zalcano is one of the most underrated moneymakers in the game right now. A lot of people skip it because it's a boss, but it's not a combat boss, it's literally skill and focused. You don't need any combat stats, you just need mining. To access it, you need to complete Song of the Elves and have 70 mining. That's definitely pretty hard to do as this is a Grandmaster quest, and that has a crazy amount of requirements on its own. So I'll definitely say this is a late mid, early late game type of thing. You're also going to need a dragon or crystal pickaxe minimum, and you should have the celestial ring equipped for an invisible mining boost. And a regen bracelet is also useful for healing. You can choose between resource loot and experience loot. Resource loot gives you ores, bars, runes, but you lose a significant portion of the crystal shard drops. Experience loot gives you XP and keeps the crystal shards coming, and crystal shards definitely make up over half of the money you're going to be making here. Zalcano can make you up to 2 million GP per hour, but you'll need to be on a specific world with a good amount of players. In smaller groups of 4 or 5 players, you can also hit 80k mining XP per hour. For a skill and moneymaker, that's excellent XP alongside good profit. To pickpocket Vias and Elves, you're going to need 82 and 85 thieving. These two are the gold standard for non-combat money in the late game. You need 82 thieving for Vias, and you also need to complete Sins of the Father, and ideally you want the full Rogue's outfit. Vias are found in Darkmire in Mauritania, and once you have access they're excellent to pickpocket. Blood shards are the main thing you're going for. They're worth several million and the drop rate is 1 in 800. The wiki says it's around 2.6 million GP per hour, but bear in mind that's at good efficiency. For Elves you're going to need a higher level of 85. You're also going to need a harder quest done, Song of the Elves. You need access to Prifdinus. As well as the Rogue's outfit, you'll want a Shadow Veil, a Dodgy Necklace, and for healing you want to use Zamorak Bruise with the Redemption Prayer. Big money drop is the Enhanced Crystal Teleport Seed. It's worth 3 to 4 mil and it's a 1 in 1000 rate. On top of the main drop you're getting crystal shards, various seeds and coins throughout. You can make over 4 million GP per hour. That's a top tier moneymaker for a skilling method and it beats most of the mid-game bossing moneymakers. One of the most important things you can do is always check the current GE prices for the things that you want to do. The prices constantly change, so bear that in mind. Some methods may seem boring or not as flashy because not everyone's talking about them, but if you're bored, why not try something new? You never know what you might enjoy. Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to enter the Bond giveaway. If you want to join the Discord community, I'll leave a link in the description. Here's a bunch more OSRS videos on screen. I hope you're having a good day, and until the next one, peace.